I'm so glad that you came and joined me tonight, Brittany. One of the things that I'm so happy about and I want to share with our friends is that Brittany wanted to share tonight how she has been able to survive through the homelessness cycle. But there's a lot of shows out there about the homelessness cycle and what people are going through, and they're sleeping in their cars, and we all know it's a horrible situation out there with those that are underserved. But I think the what I wanted to really focus on tonight with Brittany, and she was willing to do this, is number one, what happens when people are calling these 211 or and this is the state of Arizona has 211, but in other states they have different numbers that they call, different information numbers for resources. And unfortunately, when you call these numbers, there's not a lot of help. And that is because many of the facilities are overcrowded. And it's the whole situation with homelessness, as you know, is just overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
And I got all kind of statistics on everything, but I didn't want to get into statistics tonight. I really want to get into some real down to earth. What is going on and why a person like you, a working person, and as a matter of fact, you started school, okay? And what was that? What was your school? Your focus in school?
It was a nurse, a medical assistant.
Medical assistant, right? And so you're going to school, you're trying to work, and all of a sudden you run into what you told me, a domestic violence situation.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about you, Brittany, and how this even happened, because you went homeless a
Right.
year ago, right?
Mhm.
Okay. You
It's
speak up a little bit so they can hear you.
my homelessness started with a domestic violence incident that occurred last it wasn't last March. Yeah, last March.
Mhm.
And um
March 24th, this year.
yeah,
Yes. So it's been
and with that, with the case, I was put out of the house, so it was one or the other. And so I ended up having to leave. And in doing so, I did manage to get into one program, which was the Windermere. And that was because I went to the park and spoke to the park ranger, and that's how I got into the
So you
Windermere.
went, so in other words, if people taking the initiative to go and talk to somebody and
Mhm.
let them know what's going on. And so
Yeah,
you were able to find a place to live almost right away?
yeah.
Okay. So that's a positive.
But with the 211 numbers, I had an advocate that was helping me, but even with her helping me, she couldn't find any places. So that's when
Your advocate could not find a place?
Mhm.
What did you see out there? I mean, you must have been scared to death. I mean,
Yeah. It,
at
it's
this,
it's scary. It is
it's scary.
scary. It's there's there's places out there for help, but there's no help because all the places are they're overcrowded, or you get given wrong numbers, or it's it's
You know what I hope that we conclude with today is some information that you can give about some tips that you can give to other women out there that get caught in these situations where you're homeless and there's nowhere to go and you have to go to some of these places. Now, I was devastated when I heard you talk about the way that you've been treated, okay, not only by some of these places. I mean, I've heard about the good places, and I want you to talk about the good places too. But some of these bad places where they give you a mat. Tell us a little bit about what goes on in these homeless shelters for
so
women.
I I got into the Chandler Eye Health program, which is co-ed. There's men and women in
Co-ed,
that
okay,
program.
all right.
And um in working with my schedule, I came in late. And so in those programs they have mentors, and the mentor is
Like a case
like
manager.
more like somebody who's helping you,
Oh, okay,
telling you where the food is, telling you where you get your mat at, where you
okay,
get your blankets at, or so it's not really a mentor. I don't know what you
yeah.
call it. I don't know what
It's
they
kind of
call
like
it.
a peer,
Yeah,
a peer help, a peer person. Yeah.
but with my schedule, he wasn't too happy with the time that I came in, I guess. And one night he just started calling me names. I don't know. He was mad. He was mad, I guess.
So
'cause
you
I
have to
woke
be
him up.
subjected to other people's personalities, okay,
Mhm.
and whatever they're going through
Right.
in their daily routine.
Mhm.
And then you come in and you said you were late. Now that means that there's restrictions, there's limitations
Right.
on what you can do. So that seems to be a hard thing.
Well, they worked with me because of my work schedule and getting a letter from my job, but he wasn't too happy with the time that I came in. So he's just like the rest of us.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so he's working, he's homeless, he's doing the program.
Oh, he
just-
was homeless and
He
work.
just
Oh,
happened to be somebody that's been in the program longer, so that's
I
why they made
see.
him, the person that helps people. I forgot what they called it.
But that's okay,
Yeah.
but you were subjected to that. In addition to, you're already homeless, you're already dealing with the fear of being out there. And I remember you said after you had to deal with him saying, well, basically, did he make you leave?
It it's more so, yeah, because he made me feel uncomfortable with the things that he said. Um, given the circumstances of the reason why I'm homeless, um, and what I went through with the things that he said to me were really mean. So I didn't feel comfortable.
You couldn't take it. It was hard for you. As a woman and going into these shelters, I mean, there's a lot of safety?
Um, I was also in the Mesa iHelp after the Chandler. I got into the Mesa iHelp, and Mesa iHelp is only women. I believe
Okay.
they have a co-ed one too, but I'm not sure. I got into the only women's one, and yes, they don't want you to give out the location. They don't want you ordering food. They don't want
Oh,
you
you're not even ordering food.
no ordering out food. They
Mhm.
feed you.
Uh-huh.
They feed you every night. They don't want nobody to know where the locations are because you're
Right.
traveling around to
You're
different
traveling
churches.
around.
Mhm.
Tell us about traveling
So
around.
you're traveling, so every night you're at a different church.
Every night you're at a different
Mhm.
church. Wow. So no stability at all there. And so this program, iHelps, it was a good program for you at the very beginning,
Right.
okay? And then they send you to different churches, and I remember you saying something about they give you a mat and then blankets or whatever, and then you sleep on the side of the.
Of the gyms or the fellowship hall or the kitchen area, like, or the lunchrooms at the churches.
For a woman that has been in a home and a warm home, I don't know about your situation as far as before the domestic violence, and this is not where we're gonna talk about that. But just thinking about the transition, the change in your life that you went through to move around each night, you had to travel.
It's hard. It was hard.
It's still hard now.
It's
It
still
looks
hard.
like, okay, so even at this day, today, and here we are, what, 5 months, almost 5 months later, you're still dealing with homelessness.
Yeah.
How is that possible? Why haven't the agencies been able to provide housing for you?
I I don't know. When I went from the Windermere to the Chandler iHelp, I was told that I qualified for a housing voucher, but I was never given the voucher or even talked to about the voucher at the Windermere. I didn't know about it there. Um, they use the same system, I guess, that Chandler uses for their iHelp program, and they're the ones that told me about it. So I don't know. I've been calling 211 and trying to get information. They keep giving me the safe DV numbers, the domestic violence intake numbers. So I
Okay.
called that in June, and I called every day for shelter. Every day I called multiple times, got
Multiple
No.
times you called.
multiple times.
Even as we began this interview, you were telling me that you called someplace 3 times already and no answers.
No answers.
And so, friends, we see that the challenges faced out there are pretty serious. And my heart goes out to you, Brittany, because I'm hearing this from a lot of people. You're not the only one. You were one of the women that were willing to do an interview and talk about the situation quite openly and share the pain of this. And even tonight, if anybody is listening to this, anybody sees this video and they want to help her get into a place, please make sure you call us. Call our White Apple Institute. I'm Dr. Denita Applewhite. I meant to introduce myself at the very beginning, and I didn't even do that. But I'm Dr. Denita Applewhite. I'm with White Apple Institute, and we help with underserved persons with disabilities, underserved adults who are in a struggle to juggle, so to speak, struggling to juggle school and work and emotional and financial crises. And right now, we have a young lady who is striving to help herself and still landing up against the wall all the time. And that's pretty serious. What are you going to do? How are you going to survive now?
I keep calling, I just keep calling numbers and looking different resources up and going to different places. I've been to different churches. I've been to a New Leaf. All these different places give me the 211, call 211. 211 tells me to call domestic violence hotline.
It's like a circle.
Yeah, it's all just,
This is what I heard even in
Yeah.
Colorado. I heard in Colorado the same thing going on. I heard in Texas the same thing, New York. This is going on everywhere, my friends. And so somewhere along the line, we have to, those of us that have this heart, okay, this passion, we're going to have to pull together in the differently abled network. And we're going to have to see if we can help with generating enough money for this young lady to be able to move into a place of your own. That's what you want, isn't it?
yeah,
Even if it's a studio.
yeah.
I mean, even tonight, as you leave this interview tonight, where are you going to go?
I usually park. I try to park in like secluded places that don't
You
have.
park, wait a minute, you're gonna park your car in a secluded place.
Mhm. I usually make sure there's no trespassing signs so I don't get pulled. Like I've had several times the cops wake me up when I'm sleeping, so I mainly the last couple of weeks I've been making sure there's no trespassing signs.
The police, when the police come and when they not that sure they knock on your window or whatever, that must scare the hell out of you, so to speak.
Because I've had several, what do you call those tests? I've never been in trouble.
Yeah,
Where they
I
make
was
you-
gonna ask you that. Have you ever been in trouble before? I mean,
No.
so you're a good girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
You know,
had
we
me
call
do
a
the
good
sober
girl.
test. Isn't
They
that what
do
you
a
call it?
sober test.
Yeah, I did that, and then I take
My goodness.
anxiety
My
medication
goodness.
at night, right? So when so they asked me and I told them, yes, but I'm not driving, this is what I'm taking, and obviously it's because of this situation, right? And so they left me alone.
What do you feel so far? What do you have to say about White Apple Institute and the way we've been able to support you so far?
I've had a really good experience. I'm able to call and talk when I need to talk. There's been several times when I needed somebody to talk to and didn't have someone to talk to, and I was able to call and talk. So that helps. Um, I've also been given numbers that, they someone helped, but they have this, you guys have the same resources as everybody else.
Right,
So
right.
it's either you may get a good answer or you may not get a good answer. I'm hoping one day to get an answer from one of these places.
Well, that's
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
hoping this interview is going to do,
Yeah.
that people will at least look at what we're trying to do here and see that promoting the differently able network, which is a network of professionals and those that have been underserved and homeless themselves, that maybe now you're on your feet and you're able now to help someone that needs help. And I promise you that we do a full vetting of the people that we talk to and the people that we help. So I really appreciate your time that you spent with us. And as we close right now, I have the most important thing I wanted Brittany to say to you is what she feels needs to be done to change the situation. Because she told me some great things. Go ahead, I'll let you talk about what you feel that system needs to do.
I feel like there's a miscommunication between the different agencies and the numbers that are being given out to individuals. Um, like I stated earlier in the interview, there's a lot of numbers that I called, and those numbers give me other numbers that I've already been given, or they've given me those numbers. So I think it's just all a miscommunication.
So miscommunication,
Mhm.
okay,
I feel like, you know, the programs that I've been in, I think there needs to be probably more training for the
more training. Oh, you can say
more
it. You can
training,
say more training for the people that work the programs.
right?
Yeah,
And helping people that are homeless, because when you are in the programs, you're still homeless.
yeah.
You're getting help. I think that they need more training.
They need more training because they're not, the empathy, the compassion is not
Correct.
there. You think that, and this is what I've been hearing with a lot of organizations that they feel that they don't really care about them, that
Right.
the workers there just give you the blankets and the food and whatever.
Right.
And it's rare that you find somebody that's really nice enough
Right.
to
I
really
haven't
sit
really
with you.
run into. There's been a couple people in the IHELP program that helped me, and maybe one or two people at Windermere, and
Wow,
it's
wow.
really, it's. I was there for 3 months after Windermere, so one or two people out of 3 months is like,
And out of the 3 month period, they were not still able to find you housing.
no,
And you're going in and out every night with all these restrictions and everything. My goodness. So and there was another thing you mentioned that was really, really important that I thought was that would help people, is that not only the training of the workers there, not only the improving the communication between agencies, which we hope we hope will encourage. But you mentioned that there's nothing to help people with financial knowledge.
right. They don't. They don't
They don't
offer
sit
it.
with you and say, okay, well, why are you in this situation and how can we help you get out of this situation?
Right. No, they don't.
And
I've
and
had
that's
nobody
something,
help me with any of that.
and that's something that is very much needed.
Right.
Ask for help.
Um,
Look in the camera and
it's
ask
hard for
them
me
to
to
ask for
ask
help.
for help, but right now what I'm looking for is um some type of shelter, even a studio, help with the studio. I do have a job and I'm able to pay. I'm just not able to get into an apartment because of all the extra fees and things that they ask for. Um, so right now I'm still, well,
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time tonight. And I hope that it not only helps with somebody who's underserved, but I hope that it helps with those of us that work with people who are homeless and underserved in our communities, that we reach out and we find a way, even if it's not through our organization, which again is whiteappleinstitute.org. And also in building our network, we're trying to build a network of professional people that will pull together so that we can help people like Brittany, that do not deserve to be out in the street, have done nothing wrong with their lives. They don't have a record. They're just good people striving to help themselves. So there's got to be a way. All right. So thank you so much for your time. And feel free to call me at 888-56-APPLE, 888-562-7753. Thank you.
you know what?